and welcome to Speaking Truth to Power with Denise Kirchoff and Dr. Nakpangi Thomas. I am Dr. Thomas. Denise will be joining us shortly, and we are the most progressive news, making sure that we speak about issues that matter to us. And Denise has just joined us.
Oh, everyone, really sorry about that. I must apologize, sorry guys. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
I do apologize.
Denise was actually on time, but you know, sometimes we have to take care of things before we come into the station. And we have a very special guest with us today. We have with us candidate Charletta.
Shalitha McGinnis.
Yes.
What? Why does that not look like Shalita to me?
My mother's from Mississippi.
Okay.
Let's blame
McGinnis. I get it. My name is Nakpangi. It has a K in there, so everybody is Nakpangi, and I'm like, no, that's not how it. Okay. It doesn't look like it sounds.
Exactly.
So,
Well, my middle name is Renee, the French spelling, but the male spelling. Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Well, she knew you had a little masculinity in you, so she
well,
wanted to put
she
that
wanted
through
to give me
there.
some strength, I guess, and I guess she figured, like, but didn't know there was girl power, and it rules.
Absolutely, girl power.
Yes, right. Girl power. All the way.
So, Charlita. Shalita.
Yes.
I'm gonna get it right before the show is over. I'm gonna get it right, you all. Shalitha, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from Detroit?
Yes, I'm born and raised in the city of Detroit. I lived right over here in this neighborhood off of 7 Mile and I-75. I attended Marshall Elementary, NOLA Middle School, which is right down here off of State Fair. And I graduated from Osborne High School in class of 88.
So you're a native Detroiter.
Yes, I am.
All your life.
True blue.
All right. And you have a family?
I do. I'm a mother of 3 biological children, and I've been raising my cousin's son since he was 10 years old. He's now 34.
Oh.
And I have a daughter, and I had her since she was 11.
Okay.
Oh, look at you. Woman on the move. Now, let me ask you, this is not your first delve into politics, is it?
It isn't, but it is. I ran for president in 2020, and
I got your information when you ran for president, too.
And everybody, that is president of
The
the
United
United States.
Yes.
So, we're in the presence of a presidential candidate.
yes, I was a presidential candidate, and I didn't get my name on the ballot because they said they didn't see any $1 million ads. And I'm not a millionaire. I'm a single mother like a lot of folks. I've been working 3 jobs for the last 23 years. So, no, I'm not a millionaire.
You know, tell us about that a little bit. When you say that you didn't have $1 million, how was that process of running to be president?
Well, I filled out all my paperwork with the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission. I filled that out. Everything was approved. And trying to get contributions and donations, I received some, but it wasn't enough to get any political ads on television. I was able to get advertisement and do some podcast shows and different things like
Yeah,
that.
you had some commercials out there.
Yeah, I had a little few.
I
But-
saw those commercials.
But it wasn't like major like
Right.
the majority of the other candidates, so they wouldn't put my name on the ballot.
Yeah,
But all my paperwork was in on time, and I went to other states to get my name on the ballot, and some of these states want you to pay $20,000, $30,000 just to get your name on the ballot. That's ridiculous.
So it's really a money grab.
Right, I think there's a process that people don't understand. Because I know, like, if you run for Michigan Supreme Court Justice, you have to raise $100,000. So you potentially have to be a very large donor to your respective party, whether it's Republican, Democrat, independent, or Green. You have to bring in money. So they sort of equate money with votes. So if people believe in you, I know, if people believe in you enough to give you money, then they're more likely to vote for you. So I don't think people really understand, how complicated it is to run for office. And
especially at the presidential level.
Right. Well, at any level, because most people of color aren't informed. Because I ran for office, but I'd actually done my homework. I ran for Washington County Commissioner, and there's a lot involved. And nobody tells you that.
Yeah.
And let alone somebody who's going to run against you, even within your own party, there's really no information. And I think one of the good movements going forward is like with the young millennials, especially the kids who started to support Bernie was they have websites where they put the information out there. Whether you want to run for councilman, prosecutor, federal office, or state office, because we know these are like, this is like the internet generation. They're like, if it's out there, we're going to find it. So they've actually, a lot of young progressives have set up those websites. And they've done that. And they wonder, how can some of them so smoothly transition into running for power? They're just like, since you won't tell us, since, they figure generations have lied to them about everything, history and all, we'll just find out the truth. So they've started to do that, because you're right. Nobody tells you. Even if you contact the party, they're just like, well, it's out there. And you're like, where?
Right.
It's like,
hello.
hello.
Information. A lot of people will look on this website. Okay, I'm looking, but it doesn't give you specifics.
Exactly.
But you shouldn't have to be a millionaire to run.
Right.
That's why we keep getting these same idiots in office.
Right.
Because they in cliques, they in particular parties. The same people run. They give and they donate to their friends. That's all in this political clique. And see, I'm not a political. This president was the very first time really running in politics. I have ran for a precinct delegate in my area a few times, but it was 4 seats. Only me and another gentleman was running. So the two of us is, oh my God.
No, that's fine. No, and I think that's something that people really need to understand. It's like, all right, I think one of the prime examples was when Mitt Romney was running for president, and he made the statement about a hamburger costing like $30. And we're all looking like, okay, where did you go for that $30 hamburger? Because I've never had a $30.
Right, exactly.
Right, thinking that a Burger King hamburger is like $30. So that's out of touch with reality. I'm not saying that he can't bring anything to the table, but when your reality is not the reality of the majority, it's like, how can you really be in touch? And I do understand having money and having power and being able to sit at the table with the power brokers. That's a really good thing to be. But here's the reality. The power brokers need to bring people to the table too. I mean, they might actually open the door, but they need to be pulling out the seat for people like you who live in a neighborhood and who can say, you know what, this is what my neighborhood needs. Now, what would you say as mayor is one of the things that you think the city of Detroit needs?
Oh, the city of Detroit needs a lot of different things. Well, one of the things, for all of our people that's out here that's trying to find jobs. The city, we have so much development that's going on in the city, and they're supposed to have so many Detroiters on these job sites. But when it comes down to it, they're always saying that Detroiters don't have the qualifications. I want to
or that they can't pass the drug test.
Can't pass the drug test, or they don't have the education or the skill. So there are some resources out here, but I want to improve on the resources as well as make our citizens aware and to inform them that, hey, we need you to get into these programs. And I want to improve the amount of programs that's out here. Get your high school diploma if you need to, GED if you need to. Get these skilled trades jobs. Skilled trades, you talking about making a livable wage. If you have a skill, there's sky's the limit, because either you can work for these corporations or you can be your own entrepreneur with these skilled trades jobs.
Now, when you say skilled trade jobs, what are skilled trade jobs?
Skilled trades, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, which is heating and cooling, auto mechanic.
Because I'm going to be honest, we don't even think about construction anymore or masonry work. I'm actually looking for somebody to do some work for my house, and I can't find anyone because either they're already too busy or they don't know how to do the work. We need more
licensed.
Exactly, or they're not licensed, and I'm like, I don't mess with people that don't have a license.
One of the things I did notice on the news, I think I was watching Channel 7 News. They did talk about the shortage in the labor union, and I'm thinking, okay, now would one of your thoughts be as mayor to go to the labor union and say, look, because laborers start at a very low level, because obviously you're in a union and you bring people in and you train them. Would one of the things you be looking to do as mayor is partnering with, like, let's just say the labor union and saying, look, we have a lot of building coming up in Detroit. We have a lot of unemployed young men and women and older men and women that can do these jobs.
Yes, help them
Can
increase
you
the-
partner with us in our office? Can we do like a day? Can we go through the neighborhoods looking for people? Because obviously there's a shortage. I think after the
It
pandemic, we're
is,
going to see a
and
lot of
apprenticeship
people.
programs and different things.
Right,
like
and
that,
I think
yes.
a lot of people are going to be retiring from what they were doing or moving
absolutely.
on because people have had 15 months to rethink their lives. And I think that's why we're seeing, because my dad was a laborer. And I know with my husband, one of the first jobs he got was like with the laborers. But, you know, he started at a level where my dad brought him in, you know, he filled out all the paperwork, they accepted him. And he started, but he, you know, moved up because it
Right.
helped us pay for an apartment in college. But it was, and that was quite a few years
Right,
ago.
like my
it was a
father and
really
his
good paying
brothers.
job,
Yeah,
you know.
my fathers and brothers built houses.
Right.
They did the electrical work. They did the plumbing. I mean, literally, from the foundation all throughout the house, they did everything. And we don't have that anymore.
And see, with all these vacant houses that's here in the city, I want our citizens to get those skills so that when citizens of Detroit can purchase these homes, I want to make that available for Detroiters to be able to purchase the homes first, outside of these companies, outside the
Thank
country.
you. That is needed.
Now
these homes.
explain to us now. See, some people are going to be like, so what are you talking about? Now, explain to us how the land bank in Detroit currently works and how you would go about maybe just tweaking it and
Streamline it
changing.
or something.
Right.
Well, right now, the land bank, they do it a couple of different ways. They have houses that is in extremely disrepair, and you can just buy them outright for
Now,
$1,000.
who can buy them? Anybody?
Anybody can buy them, but a lot of people are buying them like out of the state and out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some that they have on there that you can bid on. They start at 1,000, but sometimes they can go up to 100,000 or more. And some of these prices are just ridiculous of what they're bidding on these homes for. And some they sell in bulk. So they may sell 100 houses at one time or 6 houses at a time. But you have to have a certain amount of money, and you have to have your financials in order, and
You have to present a
Present
cashier's
all
check
of
at a
that.
certain time.
Right.
That's non-refundable, my understanding is,
It's
or something like
not,
that.
if you get the bid, it's your properties. But if someone else, if you put your down payment on and someone outbids you, you get your money back.
Okay. But the trick is you have to have that check first.
Yes, you have to have
And-
the money first.
Right.
They take your deposit, your $1,000 deposit. If you're bidding on one house, I think it's like $5,000 or $10,000 if you're bidding on multiple homes. And they will have it there. You pay that with your credit card. And once you start bidding on the property, if you win the bid, depending on how much the bid was for, either you will get your money back if you did for multiple houses, or if you did for one, then you would pay the difference, and you have to have that to them in the next 24 to 48 hours.
So even dealing with the land bank is not even something that's for necessarily a poor person that's trying to own a home, who maybe is on, say, Section 8, or a working family or parent that's making minimum wage and wants to purchase a home. It's not that easy for them to do that. It sounds like.
It can be, but it's if you just buying one of the ones that's for $1,000, you can put in for the $1,000 for the home.
Okay.
If not, if you want to bid, then it depends on who wins the bid. But for like we have, once you get the home and you're approved, they do all the paperwork, and then you have up to 6 months to make the repairs on the home.
Okay.
And I have seen where these corporations end up purchasing these homes and don't make the repairs and sit on them for longer than 6 months, but the home
Hello?
is taken from them.
Yes, hi, caller.
yes.
Thank you for calling. You have a question or comment for our guest?
More or less a comment. I'm enjoying the show as always, and thank you for having interesting topics and guests. I wanted to just express a feeling about grassroots politics, and no disrespect to the lady there, but I would like to hear when grassroots candidates come on, potential candidates, to talk about substantive issues and what qualifies them to that elected position, rather than just criticize what is going on at the time with the incumbent or the policies. I never hear local candidates actually stand ground to explain why they are qualified. To throw things in the air like we need better policing, we need better schools, of course, but how are you going to do it? Do you understand what a millage is? Do you understand how the council and the mayor have to work together, along with officers like Chamber of Commerce and block clubs, etc.? So it's kind of annoying to have people clogging the wheel, if you will, to just want to run for office. And not saying it's about this particular lady here. It's just it's a excessive amount of that. And so politics start at the grassroots level. And if you keep having candidates that's not qualified, that slip through the cracks, that's when we have a political snafu, if you will, in military terms. So I just want, hopefully, if the lady here can explain in political jargon, in political terms, why she feels she's qualified to impress upon stakeholders, voters, why they should consider her. And everybody else, for whatever office, I hope that they will identify as such in that way.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, before we do that, let's do a really quick station break. Thank you, caller, for that. You are watching Speaking Truth to Power, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
All right.
No.
I really do appreciate that last caller. And
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
before we move forward, let's explain grassroots politics. Grassroots politics to me, and what it meant to me and my friends, is basically we start where we are, in our backyards. Because we live in our community, we know what's going on in our community. I mean, sometimes you're the person who's extremely politically active, and sometimes, because you go to like your city council meetings, you go to the meeting with the mayors, you go to the meetings with your congressmen.
School board meetings
You go to
as well.
school board meetings, because that's really where it all starts at. Because you have to learn what's being taught in our schools and who's running our school board. And you're dissatisfied. You're in that neighborhood and you see your lack of services. You see your lack of trash pickup. You see your lack of diversity of times for kindergartners to start school. You see money coming into your state, but not into your community. So a lot of times that's what grassroots politics is. It starts with the neighbors standing on their lawn talking politics. That's what it is for me and for a lot of people. So I just wanted to explain that. But now we will let our guests talk about grassroots politics and what qualifies her and her opinion, because qualifications are different for all of us. In your opinion, what you think you can bring to the table and how you understand the political machine working in Detroit.
Well, for one, I've been working for the city of Detroit as a budget manager for the last 18 and a half years. So I prepared the budget for the city. I have managed the largest departments of the city. I'm still currently an employee as a budget manager for the city of Detroit. So I work with the mayor, I work with city council, and I know how it works because I've been doing it for, like I said, for the last 18 and a half years. And I live in the community. I'm a single mother. I've been through what the majority of the citizens have gone through and still going through. I was a teen mother, so I can relate to these young ladies that have children as teenagers. I'm a single mother. I can relate to the single mothers, what their issues are. Child care, jobs that's working over hours and they need someone to watch their children. I went through it. I had to take my kids to school with me when I didn't have anyone to go to watch my kids for school, for work. So I know that my kids, I still have a teenager. My mother for children over 30. I still have a teenager about to go to 12th grade. So he go to Detroit Public Schools. I know it.
Now, working with the budget in the city of Detroit.
Yes.
Now, I'm sort of curious because you've heard a lot about budget changes, budget alterations, and especially with the police department, with the budget. Now, does that fall into your wheelhouse? And, with just all public disclosure, what does the new budget look like? Because, like in Washington County, we will be receiving literally $100 million to our county. and we have a form online where we've set up about 7. When I say we, I mean the county and the commissioners have set up like 7 different things that we think of our interests that need to be done that we can do with this money. Now, has the city of Detroit, Wayne County, received its fiscal,
budget.
CARES money that will be coming into Wayne County? And how integral is Detroit going to be in that budget?
Well, Wayne County get their portion, the city of Detroit got their portion. And right now, the current mayor is trying to decide what he's going to do and how he's going to allocate the CARES money right now. And he's the current mayor, so I can't say what he actually is going to do.
Well, what would you do with it?
Right.
Well, tell us, what's the budget amount, and then how would you allocate that money?
Or would you, instead of allocating that money, because I'm not familiar with Detroit, and I will do that in all full disclosure, I'm not sure if the mayor or the city council or even you as a budget manager have gone to the people in your community and said, look, we have this money. We all need to have a conversation.
No, that's
so
not.
I'm
that's
sort
not
of
curious. That doesn't happen.
How is this? Does the mayor just make the main decision? How's this done? And how would you do it differently? I understand what you're saying, but how does that work? Or how has it worked?
Well, the mayor, he decides the government, the federal government, give him allocations of where he can use the money.
Right.
It's just he can't just use it wherever he wants to.
Okay, so there are guidelines.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
There is guidelines, but within those guidelines, he has to make decision where he wants to allocate the funding. And once it's done, he do have to go to city council. They have to work together to make the decision on where they're going to allocate these funds.
Okay, so where can the funds be used, if you know?
It can be used for neighborhoods. It can be used
for neighborhood improvement, revitalization.
Neighborhood improvement, revitalization. Some funding can be used for helping people with the rent for the pandemic. People were unemployed.
Now,
the infrastructure can be used because they were getting infrastructure dollars separately.
Okay.
But
so how would you use the money?
Well, for one, I want to use it where, for our citizens that's currently homeowners, I want to be able to help them repair their current homes, because there are new developments in some of these communities where they're building homes in the middle of these neighborhoods where other people can't afford to repair their homes.
And to do those improvements to the home, because some of these, I'm also a Detroit native. I've left from time to time, but still born and raised here in Detroit. Oftentimes these homes are passed down from their grandparents,
right?
And then we have the second or the third generation that may be living in the homes, and they may not be able to afford the repairs because sometimes they just get left a home and not really knowing how to take care, manage a home, and all the things that it goes into home ownership. So for those individuals, how do you see that money being used?
For those individuals, I want, make sure we have programs where someone can come in to get a loan. We have some money allocated for grants based off your income for low income individuals, but for ones that's currently working, that they claim that their income is too high, but you can probably provide them a loan.
And that's the thing though. For the working class, there's really no benefits for them, because at times they can use grant money,
exactly,
because they're working, but they're working most likely from paycheck to paycheck,
and they can't afford it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So why can't they or there be grants offered to them and have income limitations where if you make this amount, you can receive this amount for a grant? Why can't it be like a tier system for the working class?
And I actually just have one thing to tag on to that, since you're asking that question, which is really well. Now, with this CARES Act money that you're looking at spending, is there anything that prevents you from partnering also with the federal government? Because HUD has also received on the federal level, a very large amount of money. And HUD has these programs that they're trying to run throughout the country. Now, because you do the budget and you will know the limitations. Would that be something you're looking at? It's like, well, I have, let's just say 5 million here. HUD has received 50. How do we marry the two where I'm expanding on my budget, partnering with HUD, but still being in my community and pulling from their resources and still saving mine for the community? Now, because that's something that's probably doable, but you do the budget, and I know sometimes funds cannot connect with other funds.
Exactly.
What would you think about that? Is that something that you would be looking to for your community?
Yes, that's our CDBG grants we get from the federal government that can help with
Oh, she knows.
grant funds, and also we can use that to partner with other nonprofit organizations that can provide other funding for our citizens. There's nonprofits that do home improvement, so we can give them additional grant funding so they can help more people. So
Look, she's looked into you. We can tell you're running the budget. So you've already sort of moved those pieces in place.
I've been thinking about how can I help our citizens because I just had my roof replaced in 2018, but I work every day, but I had to save. I just don't have that $5,000 to get this roof repaired, and a lot of people don't.
I wish it was $5,000. We just got a roof repaired. It cost us $23,000. We had to get the porch redone. That was another like $3,000 or $5,000, and that's just outside. So inside there's still work that needs to be done. That's going to cost probably another $10,000 to $30,000.
Now, also, how does the FEMA money coming into now? Because you say, the mayor's doing the budget with all this money. How does the FEMA money coming into for the repairs of homes that were damaged tag onto the CARES money and the HUD money?
Or does it?
It doesn't tie. That money coming straight from FEMA.
Okay.
So as they do the investigation of your homes and how much damage, they will put in for the money to come to you from FEMA. It wasn't come to the.
So that's totally.
So
separate
that's a totally
fund.
separate fund.
Yes.
Now, one of the things I'd also like to know about the CARES Act money, since you're doing the budget and you're going to be the mayor signing off, right?
Since we've been working from home since March of last year, we're going back. Supposed to go back next week on Tuesday starting.
Oh, so you mean the offices are not going to be open? I can probably get people to answer the phone and emails now?
Yes, some people are going to be in the office.
Oh, thank you.
Now,
They may be working 1 or 2 days a week. They haven't.
But that's better than what we have now.
Right, we're not fully open.
Because I'm going to be honest, I've been leaving messages and emails for Mayor Duggan, and I haven't heard anything from him. So, and I'm just putting that out there because we want him on the show as well. So.
Now, what do you see as the new incoming mayor? Let's just say, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm mayor in my seat. Very first phone call you get is from 10,000 parents going, you know what? During this pandemic, I could not get online. My kids and I had to go to the local McDonald's and we got kicked out because we didn't have money to buy food, but we needed their internet. So what do you see, that digital divide? What do you see? Do you foresee as a mayor coming into a city where we have a lot of seniors that live here who cannot afford internet and don't know how to use internet. You have a lot of families who can't afford internet. So a lot of kids in Detroit are now behind in school.
But not just that, we like the infrastructure to have good internet service.
That's what we need.
So as an incoming mayor, and I can tell you, because I have friends that live here and family, and that has been one of their biggest issues. It's like the digital divide.
Right.
And the thing is, it's not something they can necessarily do. It's the infrastructure. So as incoming mayor, what are your plans to deal with that? Because that's going to be coming straight up in your face.
Work with some of our capital dollars to improve the infrastructure and make sure we try to get citywide Wi-Fi for the city, and that would help out tremendously with the families that didn't or can't afford to have Wi-Fi in their homes. So I'm in agreement with that. We need to make sure we have that immediately because you never know if this can transpire again.
Right. So now I'm not sure if the city of Detroit does this. Do they do the partnering with Comcast?
We do have a partnership with Comcast because we have our city council meetings come through Comcast on Channel 10.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Speaking Truth to Power, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
Now, I know we're sort of all over the map here, but we only have you for so long. Proposal P.
Oh,
Proposal P.
well, before she talks about Proposal P, can you actually tell us the role of the mayor? What exactly is the mayor's responsibility?
The role of the mayor is to make sure that, well, to unify our city, improve our city, make sure our city services are on point for that they providing the service for our citizens. I feel that we are customer service based because the citizens are our customers, and we need to make sure our customer service is impeccable. Even I'm a city resident, and then when I go for city services for myself in the building that I work in, and I can see that people are not as friendly as I feel that they should be when you are customer service based, and make sure make sure our citizens are safe, make sure they feel safe within their homes when they're out in public. And then as well as that's our public safety, education. That's Detroit Public Schools, but I want to make sure that the mayor, me as a mayor, work with our school boards to make sure that they are teaching our children skills that can help them in their quality of life and in their improvement and knowing. Like when we were in school, we had shop, home economics, we had cooking, things that we can use for the rest of our lives. It helps us transition from high school to college as well.
Or from childhood to adulthood.
Exactly. And, making sure that we are unifying public safety. You just threw me off.
So you will be working now because because we have to acknowledge some of the things that have happened in Greektown.
Well, wait, we want her to talk about Proposal P.
Right, but I just want to say but the mayor does work with the school board and the police department. I mean, that's so I'm sort of thinking, are those people literally in your office every day? Because wouldn't it seem like because you're all such an integral part of the city, that there needs to be literally an everyday update meeting on what's going on in our city, what's bad, what needs to be improved, what can we change, where are our spots that we can do better or that need help. Now, is that part of the mayor's job? Because I've never been a mayor, known one or two, but it does seem like that
transpires currently, and it's going to once I become mayor. But they do have pretty much daily meetings, the police department as well as the mayor. They have daily meetings, and other departments have daily meetings with the mayor as well.
Okay.
And I want to improve on that because I'm in the city and I'm amongst the city. I'd be out here at 11, 12 o'clock at night still passing out flyers, flagging down people like, hey, I'm running for mayor. I'm not afraid of my citizens. I live here.
Right.
So they be like, you out here at 12 o'clock? Yes, I'm not afraid. I will go into any neighborhood, any time of day, any time of night. So you have to love your community that you want to represent, that you're a mayor of. You have to live here. You have to be amongst the people. And as mayor, I want to know daily. I want to go out to the neighborhoods myself. I mean, I can get it from my police department, but I want to go out there myself, like I have been doing since I've been running, just going to see, because I live on 7 Mile and Evergreen now, but since I've been canvassing, it's areas that I know that hasn't changed in the last 15 to 20 years.
Right, the overlooked, the forgotten area.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
So how does the mayor have any role in bringing in business and new development to the city, and how does that happen?
They work with our planning and development and housing development department, as well as the Department of Commerce, and and then they have relationships and bring in different businesses, development companies that want to come in and do housing development. Just let them, make sure, but we ain't trying to pad nobody's pockets, but make sure that they want to come in and do development, or you can even extend a hand. Like our Michigan, our downtown is beautiful, but I wanted like our Chicago, Michigan Avenue. I want it, but I want it on like other corridors, not just Livernois and not just downtown. I want it up and down Gratiot, up and down 7 Mile, 6
So
Mile.
you want it to be neighborhood centered.
Yes.
The anchor
So in the
areas
community
in
and
the
not
neighborhoods.
just the downtown,
Yes.
Right.
to where the more upscale or posh people may go and visit, and tourism.
I want Detroit to be the city that I know it could be, the tourism city, because everybody loves Detroit, but they have this negative image of Detroit. And I want that to totally change, because if you really come into the city, we are a city of loving people, but you only see in the negative.
How would you change that public image of Detroit? Not just for Detroiters or Michiganders, but for the world. How would you change that?
Well, for one, I want to just change the mindset of our residents.
Good. That's the first thing that needs
Change
to
our
be
mindset
done.
of our residents, and hold the people accountable for our neighborhoods. And when you come across 8 Mile, I want you to see a totally different image of the city of Detroit, because if we start taking care of our own, if you're a homeowner, if you're keeping up your property, making sure your grass is cut, making sure you have grass, making sure the trash is picked up in front of your property, then we can work on the outskirts of the neighborhood, making sure all that illegal dumping is picked up, and make sure all these vacant lots. And for our citizens that's living next to a vacant lot, I need you to purchase that lot. Put a fence around it. Keep up that area. Because when you come across 8 Mile, I want Detroit to look just like the rest of the cities across 8 Mile. And why shouldn't it? But we have to love our own city. We're going to start holding you accountable. For our homeowners and your landlords, I'm for you. I'm here because I understand what you're going through. But for our renters, we need to start holding you accountable as well, because you can't move into someone's home. Now, making sure that the landlords make sure their houses is up to code and up to date before you move in. But once you're in that home and you have a lease on that property, at that time you are pretty much the homeowner at that time. It's up to you now to keep up your grass.
Unless it's in your contract or your lease that you're going to be, the homeowner is going to be responsible.
Right.
But and I agree, because oftentimes people are afraid to rent homes because they're afraid that the renter is going to damage the home, and then they have to go to court and sue them for damages and other things of that nature. But I wanted to know, do you already have relationships with people that can bring money and development into the city?
I do have some relationships with some development companies right now, and they have been trying to have development within the city, but the current administration has been giving them a deaf ear, haven't been calling them back, and why not? You have all this vacant property. Why won't you let someone develop this because they're not your personal friend or something, and you don't have no relationship with them?
Now, are these developments more maybe not downtown centered, but neighborhood centered?
They are neighborhood centered.
Because that's one of the things I feel like you need. You know, you need things for the people and the kids and the seniors in your neighborhood. Not everybody needs to drive to Detroit. And don't get me wrong, Detroit is a beautiful place. It's a great place. But suppose I don't want to get on a bus or get in my car and drive all the way to Detroit. I should be able to do certain things in my neighborhood. I should be able to at least go to a movie. I should be able to at least have a community gathering space, even if it's a new library, that I can go to and I can meet people and I can talk to people. All of that should not just be centered in the city, because then we're all just leaving our neighborhoods and just going into the city. I should have that walkable, sittable space that I can just go... Right, as a kid,
and I could walk to the Mercury Theater. I could walk to Norwest Theater.
Right, you could walk to the roller rink or something. You should be able to walk into a free open Wi-Fi space, and even a space for the winter that's maybe not completely open, but sort of half open, half closed, where you can sit and meet people. Because I think one of the things the pandemic taught us is that we don't have to be 100% busy. We don't all have to be,
Yes.
let's run here. Let's go see a movie. Let's saw the movie. Let's go to the oh, we did this. So we don't have to rush around. And it gives us a chance to find out who our neighbors are. It gives us a chance not to be afraid of each other and see just because.
And it provides good mental health, by the way.
Ooh, Lord,
Right,
yes.
and I think that's something that's really missing because people, I'm scared to go in that neighborhood. Nobody comes out of the house. If they come out, where are they going to go?
Right.
Well, of course they don't come out of the house. What are you gonna do? Just walk up and down the street? Then somebody thinks you're selling something or doing something
crazy.
wrong.
Right.
So I think that would be like a really great just development spaces where people can gather and talk. And I mean, that's infrastructure. That's new business coming in.
And providing a better quality of life. I mean, being connected to others actually help us live longer as well.
It is. And we currently have a lot of parks that has been revamped, and they are beautiful. And I want to improve on those parks. And some of these vacant lots that's in like whole blocks, I want to renovate those and make those neighborhood little parks and sitting areas.
But what about homes? We're saying all these vacant lots where homes used to be, but we're not rebuilding homes. We still have people that live in Detroit that need homes, so why are we not using that space to rebuild those homes that were demolished instead of putting green spaces there?
Well, that's what the development would be doing, putting in new homes, new high rises for seniors and things like that.
Affordable. Will it be affordable?
Affordable.
Now, what's your definition of affordable? Or what's your price range that encompasses affordable housing?
Affordable is based off of individuals' income.
Okay,
It's
so it'll
affordable.
be income based.
Income based,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Because it can be affordable for one person, it may not be affordable for someone else.
Right.
So it has to be income based.
Okay, because I know I'm seeing 1-bedroom apartment, 690 square feet for $1,500 a month.
Ridiculous.
Right.
Right, and I'm like, that's a mortgage.
And now you having houses that were $80,000, now you $200,000 and $300,000. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Who can afford that?
Right. And so it seems as though we're pricing ourselves out of the housing market. And the homes that we have now that should be set at one particular value, and like you're saying with the land bank, where people coming outside of Michigan are buying these homes, and they're making the prices of our property go up, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
However, when that house is not equivalent to what is actually being sold for, so for example, you had a $70,000 house, but somebody over in China purchased it for $170,000.
So now that appraised value of that same type of home in that area, once they do the appraisal, is going to appraise for $170,000. So now you trying to purchase a home, and the person like, no, this house over here just sold for $170,000. I want $170,000. It's really not worth $170,000.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's good because it's bringing your value of your property up. But at the same time, you cutting out a whole.
And does that increase your property tax?
Right, that's what I was going to say. Doesn't, once you, as the mayor, come in and send out the assessors, and those homes are now reassessed, now haven't the taxes doubled or tripled? And now I've just been priced out of my house. Now I have to sell it because I can't afford the taxes anymore.
Right.
Once your value of your home go up, it does, your house do become reassessable. And it all depends on the assessment at that time. Your property taxes could go up. Yes. So we're going to make sure that we do real true valuation of these assessments of these homes, just not based on someone just overpriced a sale. Once you really know that house is not worth $170,000, why are you going to tax this person $470,000?
Good point. Good point.
That's very
I'm a licensed real estate agent as well.
Oh, wow. So, in a mayor.
So you need to tell us all of your qualifications.
Right.
Just like our
Just
caller said, you need to tell us all of your qualifications. And do you think you can do that in 20 seconds?
Yes. I have my bachelor's degree in accounting, my master's degree in business administration. I have my own accounting and tax business for the last 23 years. I'm a licensed real estate agent for the last 22 years, and I've been a budget manager for the city of Detroit for the last 18 and a half years, and I was the second deputy fire commissioner of the city of Detroit Fire Department for 2.5 years. So I know the city, I know all the operations of the city, and I want to be that mayor for all our citizens because I have the experience.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Speaking Truth to Power, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Please like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching WJZZ, the coolest station in the world. And you're back with Speaking Truth to Power.
And another thing, I'm not a political. I'm a professional politician. I'm not a politician like at all, pretty much. So
you are. Once you get in here, you've ran for president. Now you're running for mayor.
I'm still not that professional politician that just can come up here and say, speak off the cuff and let you know, tell you all these lies of what I'm gonna do, knowing that it can't be done.
Right.
Knowing that Belle Isle has a contract with the state for 30 years. I can't say I'm getting back Belle Isle. Can't. Not say immediately that we gonna bring the water back into the city. I'm gonna make sure that we can go through all these contracts to see what areas, or is there any gray areas in the contracts.
And what about even a plan? Even if you can't do it now, can you develop
What's the
a plan?
exit plan
Exactly.
look like? So when you're out of that 30-year contract, the parameters already set up.
Exactly.
You're right. How
I
far?
mean, pre-planning. How about we start being proactive instead of reactive?
Exactly. But when Kwame was in office, I was doing recreations budget, and I had to put together a plan for Belle Isle. We did a plan to charge $3 per car at that time, and City Council voted it down. So it could have been done a long time ago to have the revenue coming in for Belle Isle.
So sounds like to me is during Kwame's administration, he had plans for Belle Isle.
Yes.
And that he saw that there were some challenges where Belle Isle could be taken away, and he was trying to plan for that to not happen. But the city council at that time didn't see that need, that forward thinking.
It wasn't plans that it was going to be taken away. He saw that with the revenue that was coming in, we couldn't afford the upkeep of Belle Isle. And he was trying to put a plan in place so that if you're charging $3 per car to get on Belle Isle, you will have the monies to make any necessary repairs to keep it up. And they voted it down at that time. So it could have still been done. But,
Well, literally, where I live in Washington County, this is how the parks make money. If you live in that area, your address is that area, you get in for free. If you don't, you pay. And it's not a really huge fee. It's like a $2.50 fee. But that upkeeps the parks.
Right.
So if I go from one part of the county to another, if I live in that municipality, I'm okay. If I don't, I have to pay. And it's no big deal. And I'm like, okay, I like that park. I'm going to go to that park anyway. What's wrong with me paying $3 to get in? And I think Belle Isle is one of those parks. People come from all over to get in there, even if you did it that way.
But you pay to
get
Kensington, you pay to go
Right.
to Metro, you pay to go to Lower Huron. Why you can't pay to go to Belle Isle?
Right.
And so that parking pass, the record pass that we now have, does any of that money go toward Belle Isle? When we pay for that recreational pass that goes on our
it's
sticker?
supposed to go towards Belle Isle.
Now,
Right now it's looking a mess. I don't know what is it doing.
Oh.
Well,
Have you gone to Belle Isle lately?
I was just there yesterday. I did a workshop, yes.
Did you see all these dead trees and things in Belle Isle?
I saw dead trees. I saw a section there where there used to be a pond there, a big lake or a little pond, it's no longer there. It's dried up. Yeah, so I saw some of that, but I also saw that there's some beautification going on there. I saw that the bathrooms are actually clean and looking beautiful and have flowers there. I don't see any trash like we used to, so I'm seeing that it's a nice, clean park. So I'm seeing some pros and I'm seeing some cons, but I don't know if like that area where I'm seeing where there used to be a lake, if they're redoing. So I know there's some developmental things going on there. So I don't know if that's part of that development. So I can't really
Now, I'm a bit curious. Does the mayor's office of environmental justice have any? Well, isn't that part of like the? I wouldn't say the mayor. Isn't it like within the city council, the environmental part of the city of Detroit? Do they have any input on like the park, on what's happening in the park, or is that all at the state level?
Right now, anything that has to do with Belle Isle is at the state level.
Yeah, because it's not owned by the state, so we don't have any.
So there's no interaction with the environmental administration part of the city of Detroit, because
But
you
know,
can
I
move
see what
one
you're getting
pond
at.
one place and then it can affect something else someplace else. I mean, because it's a park within the city of Detroit. So I would think that
Right
as
now?
mayor, you should probably go to the governor and say, we need a seat on this board. We need to see, because when you look at the environment, and God knows things are changing,
Every day.
you can build something here and it can affect something miles away.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things I think I would be, as mayor, or just as a citizen, I would be extremely concerned about. If you take this body of water away, what are you taking away? What wildlife comes there that
Right.
benefits
Something
our
else.
area? What is the effect?
Right, because we're part of a large
Your
ecosystem.
Exactly.
right? So does the mayor's
the best
office?
water.
Right. So does the mayor's office have a say with the state on how that looks? Because the long-lasting effect will eventually be on Detroit, because eventually you will be handing this back over.
True. So at the time, I really don't know if the mayor have any contact with the governor on Belle Isle, but we will find that out once I become the mayor.
Okay. Yeah, because I would think that, like I say, it's almost like you're just renting it for 30 years. So what you put down and what you take away,
We should have
We-
some.
right.
It has a long.
we have to inherit this.
Effect.
Right,
Yes.
right. And it's all of an ecosystem, and a very changing ecosystem, that we can see with all our storms and all our, because I was sort of curious, like, what happened to Belle Isle during the floods? What did that
Right.
look like?
don't
I don't
know.
even know.
I don't think the Belle Isle received any damage like that during the flood. I have friends and all that actually went to the park the day after the flood and all that, because that's like they didn't have any power, so they were like, let me get out of here. And they spent the day at Belle Isle. They barbecued, they picnicked all day until the power came back on.
Oh, that's
So,
a good.
it's
See,
nice.
now that's a
Yeah.
great way to use the park.
Yes.
That is just perfect.
I mean,
And
it is a beautiful park.
It is.
has been
I've
all
always
the
loved
time,
Belle
and
Isle.
I still love
The
it.
aquarium. I remember when they used to have a zoo.
Yes.
They still have a little zoo.
I mean,
It's
no,
a
it wasn't
small-
little.
That's
right.
That's
old I
that's the
am,
nature zoo.
Oh, so
Right,
so
no,
yeah.
they had a zoo.
Yeah,
No,
no, I remember they
yeah,
had the zoo where you
yeah.
go through the turnstile, and it was a nice zoo. I mean,
That was one of the first zoos I remember. It's like in kindergarten, Sister Mary Mark took us to was the Belle Isle Zoo.
And you
And-
walk across the bridge and you look down.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. They used to have the little Belle Isle thing. It was like the big key that you put in, and it told you the stuff about all the different
story,
animals
yes,
and
yes.
stuff. I remember that. And I'm thinking, I can remember that. That was so great as a kindergarten. It was like every kindergartner from across the state went to this zoo at Belle Isle.
Right.
It wasn't the Detroit Zoo. It was the Belle Isle
It's
Zoo.
the Belle Isle
because
Zoo.
it was smaller, and you could control the kids, but it was a zoo, and it was a
Yes.
big zoo.
And it was a guided tour. If you wanted to have a guide come in, and they would tell you about the animals, the ones that were native to Michigan, and everything, and telling us how they used to have the hogs that used to come out there to eat certain things because it was an infestation of snakes or something.
Yes.
So yeah, I remember that.
And Detroit has always been, and I think one of the great things was the drive there.
Yeah.
You'd
Yes,
see
remember-
all these
but
great
at the time, you used to have to go under the
neighborhoods.
tunnel to get
Yes.
to Belle Isle, remember?
Yeah.
But-
you know what? We
but
only
you
have
drove
one
through the
more
great
minute
neighborhoods.
left. We have
Yes,
1
we
minute
will.
left. What would you like to tell our audience in this 1 minute?
As your mayor, I want to improve the quality of life for our Detroiters. I want to reduce the number of people that's living in poverty in our city, because as a city, we have to, for one, love each other, come together, and I want us to bring faith back to our residents of our city, restore our faith, and amongst all to our city, and we can't be living in fear. So as mayor, I want to be the mayor for you. I'm one of you, and again, August the 3rd is the primary. Please, I would love your support and your vote on August the 3rd.
All right.
All right. You have been watching Speaking Truth to Power with Denise Kirchoff.
And Dr. Nakpangi Thomas with our special guest.
Shalita McInnes.
And she is running for mayor of the city of Detroit. And don't forget one thing, people. Register and get out to vote. You do not have a voice if you don't vote. And you can't complain if you don't voice your opinion.
See you next week.